running up the score, Jerry.
He just sucks.
He's not good.
let's just put it out on the table. He's not a good quarterback.
Tom.
Oh, way to join a team that already won a title.
Let's hope some people still get thrown at and, get hit in baseball.
Keep it interesting,
right?
Where's that quarter? Let me look at that one more time.
I dare you to watch it and tweet us. Tell us, you know what? This is a hell of a sport.
Where's this been all my life? I'm done. No, done. This is running up the score.
It is running up the score.
We're done here.
All right.
We're done here.
This is Running Up the Score. And it starts now.
All right, it's time to run up the score. Running up the score with Jerry Napoleonello, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Brought to you by Yell 5 Sports app. We are live on Zeno Live and Periscope as well. Again, I'm here with Tom Galopani. The call-in number is, as always, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We have a lot to get to today. Got a great show ahead of us. Thank you to our sponsor, Yell5 Sports app. You can download the app from iTunes App Store by searching Yellfy. It's spelled Yellfy. Make sure to follow me at Jerry RUTS Sports and Tom at Tom RUTS Sports as well. We'll shoot you a follow back. But first, remember to join in with our conversation through the next hour here by calling in at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live, or tweet us at RUTS Sports. You can also follow us on Instagram at RUTS Sports and like our Facebook page as well. So basically, how was your weekend?
Good. A little hectic.
Yeah.
Finished moving.
Finally.
All that jazz.
Finally.
Yeah, so that's all settled, and I am ready to get into this. It's going to be, as you said, a good one. The NFL right there.
Right there, yeah.
Right there.
I mean, we got the first game tonight. I'm actually going away this weekend, which is nice. I'm going to Bear Mountain.
Nice to get away.
Yeah, it's really it's Saturday to Sunday, but it's basically, I figured with work and everything, and football season coming, I got to do it now before the season starts, because once the season starts, I am not getting a Sunday off.
Yeah.
So we're going away. Me and Nicole, we're, going for one day, like a little hiking, stuff like that. Nice. That's a nice little getaway.
But yeah,
I guess
that's all you need.
Again, you guys can call in at 605-562-7085 if you like anything that we're talking about. Give us a call. But first, we'll start off with the headlines.
Your sports headlines from the past week in sports.
Here's the headlines we'll be discussing today. NFL officially kicked off last week with the Hall of Fame game and Hall of Fame inductions. We'll get into the Dolphins signing Jay Cutler away from of Fox. Devontae Freeman inks the highest paid running back contract in the NFL. What's the deal with the league and their investigations in the punishment system? We'll get into that. And, a high-powered name in the NFL had some things to say about that. We'll give you our big headlines for the NFL season coming up. And we'll give our predictions for every team as well as award predictions. Howie Rose didn't take well to the ESPN's coverage of Sunday Night Baseball. We'll get into that. The Cubs have been on fire since the All-Star break. Red Sox are pulling away in the East. David Griffin made some comments. His first comments since being fired by the Cavs, he made some comments about Kyrie Irving. And the NBA finally making changes to the schedule. We'll get into that. And also some breaking news that came before we started our show. The NFL is going to hire full-time officials. So we'll talk about how that has to do anything with, maybe the play on the field. So we'll talk about that. But we got football tonight, like we said. Carolina Panthers against the Houston Texans. So what is your big thing that you want to see in this game tonight?
It's got to be Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's...
that you want to see any signs. Well, Texans want to see, I should say. I'm not a Texans fan. But presumably Tom Savage is the starter as of now.
Yeah.
So that means Watson will be playing the majority of these preseason games.
Yeah.
So you just want to see growth. That's
Yeah.
what you want to see in the four preseason games is him getting better than each of the last games.
Well, the one thing that, basically every rookie says, heading into the NFL is just the speed of the game. And I mean, everybody talks about that. It's the speed of the game. So I want to see from Deshaun Watson, basically what the speed of the game does to him.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. Also, my other, thing that I'll be watching for in this game is Christian McCaffrey.
Definitely.
Obviously everybody's seeing the videos on Twitter and everywhere else of him, breaking people's ankles. What he did to Luke Kuechly the other day. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get from the two rookies throughout this game. Deshaun Watson, he should get a nice chunk of this game. And Christian McCaffrey should get, some series in there as well. So, I'm excited. It's really last week started the NFL from, basically kicking off. It was the Hall of Fame game. We had the Hall of Fame inductions. Was there anything that you saw in the Hall of Fame inductions that you wanted to talk about? I mean, It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson had a very nice speech.
That's the one thing I was going to bring up.
Jerry Jones had a good speech. He actually brought Jimmy Johnson into his induction speech, so that was interesting.
He's grown up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll end up in the Ring of Honor. Who knows? But the one thing that I saw throughout this Hall of Fame. Basically, this whole Hall of Fame week, I guess you want to say, was just about how many ex-players love Jerry Jones and how many players love Jerry Jones. That's all you heard about this week was just how much the players love Jerry Jones. And you could see, the NFL, what this guy has done for the NFL. I'm not just saying all of this because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but just what he's done to the league, what he's done for the league, showed up during this week. And all the players, were for him. I thought it was nice that the whole Cowboys team stayed the extra 2 days to attend the Hall of Fame induction. A lot of people may say it goes too long. I felt bad.
It's kind of hard to put a timer on a Hall of Fame speech.
Exactly.
So.
And it's actually funny because easily the first guy to come up to have his Hall of Fame speech, the NFL actually cut off his teleprompter. And he said it at the end. He's like, "Oh, well, they're shutting off my teleprompter, so I guess that means I got to get off." So Jerry Jones went long. And what I said was basically they're not cutting him off early. Mm-hmm. It's just not happening because of what he's done to the league, what he's done for the league. As I was just saying, they weren't going to cut him off early.
No.
And I felt bad for Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner really, there was nobody left in the crowd.
Yeah.
Because you had to think, this guy's going up onto,
it's a long day.
Onto the stage. He's going up at like 10 o'clock, 10:30. So, I mean, it started at, 7? So it's like...
And obviously, the people in the crowd are there all day. It's a weekend festivity.
Exactly.
Essentially, so you can't really blame the people for wanting to leave, and it's kind of like Kurt Warner's career in a way, just how it all unfolded for him. But obviously, good for him getting in the Hall of Fame. Like I said, the one thing I was going to bring up would be Tomlinson's speech. Pretty moving and powerful, if you will. Jerry Jones, obviously, as you said, is we, the fans, see Jerry Jones the GM. That's all anyone criticizes. That's all we see from him. The players get Jerry Jones, the owner.
Yeah.
And it's a astounding result of these players loving him and,
Oh, absolutely.
the way he treats them and takes care of them. So, when people presumably hear you say that, all these players love him and all this and that, it's like, he's terrible. But it's not that way because we just see the one side of him, and
exactly
we see the GM, which he's not the best. We can definitely say that, but
he's getting better though.
No, he is. But they see Jerry Jones for who he actually is. As a person, as an owner of a team, and they love him.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jay Cutler signs with the Dolphins. I mean, leading up to that, probably a day before that, that's when Jay Cutler started to be a name for the Dolphins. I never really expected Jay Cutler to sign. And then when you start to think about it, he had his time with Adam Gase.
Yeah.
He knows the offense, and all that. So it started to become a really good fit. And, everybody just thought the Dolphins it was Kaepernick. That was the thing. We were talking about the Ravens and the fiasco with that. We were talking about just the beginning of the Dolphins. It was it's going to be Kaepernick. That's all we were talking about was Kaepernick. Every time a quarterback goes down or something happens or a quarterback's just not good, you're going to hear Colin Kaepernick.
Well, the only problem with that in this case is the time he decided to wear a Castro shirt.
Well, that was the big thing.
Kind of plays into the whole culture of Miami. So
exactly.
He may not have been liked down there, to say the least.
So, he had his press conference. Jay Cutler, we're talking about, had his press conference, and he was asked basically of what kind of shape he's in, and he gave a Jay Cutler type answer, I guess you could say. And here's Jay Cutler. Technical difficulties. So I'm going to try to, I think we have a little bit of
a delay here.
Yeah.
Computer issues.
Yeah, but we'll get into that. And no, I guess
we
won't be playing Jay Cutler. So he basically said, I'm a quarterback. I play the quarterback position. I don't have to be in that great of cardiovascular shape. So,
which in a sense he's
correct.
He's right.
Absolutely.
And then that's a very Jay Cutler answer.
So I don't really have to be in that great of cardiovascular shape. But the good thing is I play quarterback, so I don't really have to be in that great of cardiovascular shape. But I'll be fine. Adam knows kind of what I've been up to, so we'll figure it out along the way.
Well, finally the computer felt like working. So with him, I you know what? I think it might be better than Ryan Tannehill. I want to say that I think he's going to do a better job than Tannehill.
It's just,
I get it. It's a tough division, though.
Yeah, well, obviously with that. But
not that.
I feel like Matt Moore is just not getting appreciated for what he could potentially do, and I'm not saying Jay Cutler's probably better than him.
Yeah.
But what has Jay Cutler ever really
done his career?
Yeah. So it's
trust me, I understand that.
Matt Moore might even be better than Tannehill.
Yeah, that's true too. I thought it was going to be like, because everybody was talking about Kaepernick and everything like that, and I was like, you know what? Maybe they just feel all right with Matt Moore as their quarterback, and that would have started a whole, thing.
And what Jay Cutler kind of proved with this is obviously he had another career lined up with the broadcasting, but waiting it out is really beneficial to quarterbacks, especially because injuries happen.
Yeah.
In training camp, week 1, week 2, things happen. So if you wait it out like he did, he's obviously not going to be on a division winner.
Yeah.
But he's on a pretty decent team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the move for the Dolphins, and I can actually see him signing another year. with the Dolphins. So we'll see what happens with that. Devontae Freeman, signs his big running back contract, the highest paid running back in the league.
Man, where running backs come to, it's just, it's crazy. But
this is big, and we were talking about this in our pre-show meeting. Basically, what this means for some other running backs, and this is big. And you brought up Le'Veon Bell.
He wants $10 million more a year than what Freeman just got.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And there's what it happens with this is just when one player in the same position of a guy that's looking for a contract signs a contract.
Oh yeah,
that's basically,
we've seen it all the time.
It just moves up that mark of where you're going to start at. Now it's like, all right, I think it was $43 million. I believe it was. So for any other running back, now it's $43 million is the minimum we're going to go to now. So now we might as well just start.
Especially when you are Le'Veon Bell and you consider yourself better than Freeman.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, so I'm getting at least 10 then.
Exactly. And with the Falcons, it's a good move because you're signing from within, and he's one of the better running backs in the league. Not saying that he's the best running back in the league, but he's one of the better. So speaking of running backs, there's one that is in hot water, and he's been in hot water for the last month or so, and it's Ezekiel Elliott. And Stephen Jones, the president of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones' son, came out and basically said that the NFL has to clean up their stuff when it comes to investigations. And basically he had to say these things are tough for everybody. It's tough for the league. It's tough for the team. It's tough for the player. At some point, you should be able to get the information in some sort of time frame that doesn't carry on like this particular investigation has. I would hope as a league, just like we do everything else, we would look for ways to get more efficient and to do things in better ways. I'm not being critical. We're obviously in new territory when we started our own investigative team at the NFL level. Just like we do everything, we look for ways to improve it. Hopefully, we'll be better at this when we move forward in the future. I 110% agree with him.
He's talking a lot of sense.
Yeah, and again, it's not because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. The fact that they're still investigating this for over a year now, and he still hasn't seen any type of punishment or just the ending of this is ridiculous.
And we're getting so close to the start of the season. A lot's got to be going through the Cowboys' head.
Absolutely.
Elliott's head. Am I going to be here week one? Am I playing against the Giants? Which is obviously a huge game because those are the two top teams in the NFC East.
I mean, just their first three games, I believe, if you look at the schedule, I think it's, we have the Giants week 1, Denver week 2, and I think Kansas City week 3. So, that right there, those are three big games. Oh, they have Arizona after Denver. So they have Arizona. So they have the Giants, the Broncos, and the Cardinals all in the first 3 weeks.
The Arizona game is a Monday night in Arizona.
Yeah, so right there. So, a lot of people are saying that they don't think it's going to be more than 2 if it does happen. But there is the chance that it might be more than 2. You have Jerry Jones that's saying that there's no, we've looked into it. There's no domestic violence we see at all. So what is the NFL seeing? What's going on?
And they don't exactly have the best track record in domestic violence. No,
not at all. And the biggest thing is the Ray Rice thing that screwed this whole thing up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying again. We said this last week. We're not all for domestic violence. That's not what we're trying to say.
No.
We're basically trying to say
I'm more
that
lashing out on the NFL than anything else.
They messed up. They messed up, and they're screwing up the rest of their. Yeah. Now they feel like they have to be overprotective and have to over punish something for who knows, they don't have to have, they don't have to be charged, they could just throw out in a suspension to a player.
But the thing also with that is, say he does get 2 games for domestic violence, they said domestic violence suspensions will be 6.
Yeah.
So where are we?
Exactly.
Where
that's the
are
thing.
we with this?
It's
a joke, honestly.
It really is. But now we're going to get into our big headlines for the NFL season, and basically they're question based, and we're going to give our answers on the headlines. And our first one, I have to ask you, is Atlanta Falcons. Will they have a Super Bowl slump? And will the Patriots be the opposite? Will the Patriots go 16-0?
Starting with the Falcons, I do believe they're going to slump a little. As we were talking about in the meeting, you brought up Kyle Shanahan leaving is a big factor in that. Matt Ryan seemed extremely comfortable with Kyle Shanahan. It's obviously extremely hard to get back to a Super Bowl, and especially in the NFC where there's a lot of good teams. I mean, you got two teams in the NFC East with the Giants, Cowboys. Probably both of them will be there.
Yeah.
They have their own problems in their own division with Tampa Bay, a much improved team. I think the Saints will be a little better. I think Green Bay is going to be better than they were.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teams in the NFC to get through to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, slump in the sense of, miss the playoffs or under 500. I don't see that. Matt Ryan's always been a great regular season quarterback. I mean, he's improved in the postseason, obviously, but
yeah,
they'll be fine in the regular season. I don't see too much of a slump there. But with the Patriots, I mean, you gave me a link yesterday for this, playoff predictor thing to kind of, judge where our teams are going to be and whatnot, and it was extremely hard to give the Patriots a loss.
I mean, that was
really,
the thing.
It really was.
Like, I had to really kind of make a jump to like actually give them a loss.
And I forgot that it slipped my mind that they got Brandon Cooks.
Well,
that
that's
completely slipped my mind. And I was hearing on sports radio the other day that Tom Brady and Brandon Cooks have this, great chemistry already, and I was like, they got Brandon Cooks? I was like,
yeah.
This team is ridiculous.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's insane.
So I really feel they have potential to go 16-0.
Absolutely.
And beat the curse of 2007 unless they play the Giants, which.
And you know what? It's not even just a curse of that Super Bowl.
No,
I mean that Super Bowl. I mean, that was the biggest choke job in all of sports, in the championship game, especially all of the Super Bowl.
But
I mean,
this team is more well-rounded in the sense of it's not just Randy Moss and Tom Brady.
Yeah,
they're stacked.
Oh yeah,
they have
absolutely.
2 good tight ends. They have Julian Edelman, Brandon Cooks. Good wide receivers. Obviously, Brady doesn't need anybody with a name at wide receiver.
Yeah,
I could go line up a wide receiver and get 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
so. It's
tough.
They could be 16-0. They really could, and I hate to say that because I hate the Patriots. It's not so much hate; it's just sick of the Patriots, I guess. But
you know what? I love it. I don't have anything to say about it. Like,
it's because you're an NFC team.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you could say that.
But to my team is probably one of the only teams that have played the Patriots well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In the past few, more than a few years now.
Yeah.
But now my question for you, kind of looming off what we were, getting off with the Stephen Jones issue and the Cowboys is the Cowboys. How will their season be affected by this potential suspension? Because it's got to play in the minds of the offensive coordinator, of Ezekiel Elliott himself, Dak Prescott.
Well, this is huge because, you have the preseason, and your preseason is supposed to basically be, practice towards the season and how you're going to play it out and the system that you're going to play out and everything like that. There's a big difference now because your system is focused on Ezekiel Elliott being your running back. And I'm not saying that, Darren McFadden's bad. I'm not saying that Alfred Morris is bad.
They're just not
now
as good.
They're just they're different kind
they're
of
older now.
They're different kind of running backs. They're not as fast as Ezekiel Elliott. When you have Ezekiel Elliott in that offense, you can have more stretch plays. You can have, stuff like that. Darren McFadden doesn't have the speed that he used to have. He's still fast, but, you can't have him bounce it out to the outside, the amount of times that you would have Ezekiel Elliott. And the same thing goes for Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris is a more of a pound.
He's totally
type of,
different from
exactly
those other two.
So this is totally different now, because now you're focusing on Dak Prescott, and now this puts a lot more pressure on Dak Prescott, and now we're going to see how this plays out, because when you have Ezekiel Elliott in there, Dak, all he has to do is turn around and hand the ball off. It makes Dak's life easier, because now it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to have 8 in the box, 9 in the box because of Ezekiel Elliott. Now I could just basically drop back and find one-on-one coverage with one of the better wide receivers in the league in Des Bryant. You have one of the faster wide receivers in Terrence Williams. So these, and then you have your safety blanket, everybody's safety blanket, in Jason Witten. So it's a big, it's big. And, when you have Ezekiel Elliott on the field, not only does it help your offense, it helps your defense, because you're running the ball a lot. You're wasting time. You keep your defense on the bench.
It might be the best part of their defense.
Exactly.
Is that running game.
Exactly. So, that's where the effect happens. And now, just having that looming over their head.
The longer it plays out, the worse it is for the Cowboys.
Exactly. Because now it's like, all right, well, do we sign another running back? Are we going to keep another running back? Like, what's the deal? Are we going to keep 3 or are we going to keep 4? What are you going to do? So it not only affects the offense, it affects the defense, it affects, the front office.
53-man roster it affects.
Exactly. So, that's...
Because running back is a dying position, if you will, in the NFL. And the Cowboys might have to have 4 on the roster.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
So that's huge.
Exactly.
4 out of 53 in one position. That's supposedly not that important, but obviously for this team it is.
Oh, I know. We'll go with the next one, and I have to ask you: will Adrian Peterson, talking about running backs, will Adrian Peterson play up to his AP stature? AD.
I don't see it. When you get to a certain age at running back, it's that one position. The magic age is 30.
Yeah.
You hit 30, you're done. And there's been a few exceptions, and the one real exception is Frank Gore, who's somehow still playing this game at a decent level, mind you. But I personally just don't see it. He might have the rejuvenation in the first couple games, trying to bounce back, show everybody that he's there. But long term, the whole season, I personally just don't see it. I see Mark Ingram being the number one running back for that team.
Yeah, and what I'm
red zone, maybe I could see him making it in.
I could just see Drew Brees helping him.
Yeah.
And maybe not get to his, Adrian Peterson type.
Brees definitely does help.
But to help, because this is the best quarterback he's ever had.
I would 100% agree with that. That definitely impacts it. He's never really been a huge receiving running back.
No.
So, we'll see how that plays off in this system, because obviously with Drew Brees, they're going to be passing the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it plays off with that. He may not be on the field a lot because of the passing. So that could obviously affect it, unless he magically gets better hands somehow and becomes a receiving running back at, the age of 30 plus. But I just don't see it. I like Mark Ingram. I think he's a good running back. He fits the Saints and what they do. I can't think of the backup running back that they have prior to Adrian Peterson, but he was a very good receiving running back. I can't think of his name right now, but he was a good receiving running back to fit that Saints offense. So personally, I just don't really see where he kind of fits into it, because where are you going to play him? In the red zone, where Mark Ingram is a pretty good red zone running back. He's not the best receiving running back when they already have one, so I just don't see it. I do think the Saints will be better than they have been, better than last year, but I would not expect 1,000 yards from Adrian Peterson.
No. So
Speaking of, this is going to be juicy, everybody.
Yeah.
Will the Jets go 0-16, the complete opposite of what we were just getting into with
let me see.
the Patriots?
So basically, I was going over this, and obviously we're going to give our predictions later. So some of this kind of threw off, some of our, basically gave away some of our, ideas of how this looks.
Not too much, though.
Not too much, no.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, so, now, like I said, I sent you that link. Well, like you said, I sent you that link. And we're kind of going, like, I went over it, and it's interesting. And, basically you just pick the games, just who's going to be the winner.
Yeah.
So I'm looking over the Jets now. All right. Now you look at it. Their first 3 games: Buffalo, Oakland, Miami. There's not one team on this schedule that they're better than. I mean, the one game that you may be able to say, all right, you know what, maybe the Jets can pull off.
There's 2 back-to-backs.
The Jacksonville and the Cleveland game.
Yes.
It's tough. First of all, you're playing in Cleveland. That's the one game that I said maybe that could be their win. But they're playing in Cleveland. Week 5, you might even see Deshaun Kaiser.
I was just going to say that.
You might see Deshaun Kaiser. So it's going to be interesting.
That's their only shot. One of those 2 games.
And I think, and like we said, I think that Jacksonville's going to be better this year.
Yes.
Leonard Fournette is going to be, solid for them.
Just Tom Coughlin's presence and all that, they're going to be a better team.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you would have said maybe Miami, but I don't see it, especially now with Cutler.
Miami's definitely way better than the Jets.
And Buffalo, they have a better quarterback. That's just how it goes. And then you look at it. You look at the rest. The Patriots, Miami again, Atlanta, Buffalo, Tampa Bay is going to be better this year. Carolina is going to be better this year. Kansas City is going to be better this year. You got Denver, who's struggling.
Still got the defense, though.
They still have a defense. New Orleans Saints, I think, is going to be better now with Adrian Peterson. Los Angeles Chargers, I think, will be better this year. They lost a lot of close games last year.
Yeah, they did.
The New England Patriots are just going to blow them away. So I'm looking at this, and I don't see a win.
At Week 17, the Patriots can, just pull the replacements and get Shane Falco in there at quarterback and still beat the Jets.
And still beat them, yeah. I mean, I just don't see a win. I don't. I'm sorry for the Jet fans. I know, we obviously are based out of New York. I know that there's a lot of Jet fans that listen to the show. I'm sorry. I just don't see a win. I don't.
And on top of that, if you are a Jets fan,
I'm sorry.
First of all, I'm sorry. But on top of that, you can't go into the season
expecting more than that.
Well, no, not just expecting that, but you can't go into the season with the mindset of wins and losses. Yeah. You have to go into the season with the mindset of player development.
Yeah.
And letting these young guys develop. But they also have a problem with that because last year they had the perfect opportunity to start the young quarterbacks, and they never
did. Do it. I've been saying it since they were like, oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry, but they're just not that good of an organization.
No,
it's just not. Their owner sucks.
They are poorly run.
That's it.
Not to mention
they bring in all these quarterbacks, and they don't know how to develop a quarterback.
The owner is not even the owner right now because he's the ambassador of London.
It's probably better off that he's.
It might be. It might be.
But the thing is, just their player development is just not good because, they've brought in all these quarterbacks. Like I was just saying, they brought in all these quarterbacks and they just don't know how to develop them. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, not interesting to see, but say Eli Manning gets hurt and we see Geno Smith, with the Giants. Maybe you see a better Geno Smith.
You probably will because he's in a better organization, and that plays a lot into just your mindset.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of college, I thought Bryce Petty was going to be a very good quarterback. I still think that he has potential to be a very good quarterback, but it just on the Jets, you're not going to be a good quarterback. I mean, Christian Hackenberg doesn't even know how to break a huddle. He was kicked off the practice field for not being able to break a huddle twice. I've never even heard of that. How do you not know how to break a huddle? You say, break.
You're a quarterback now. Congratulations.
come on.
You're a quarterback for the Jets.
Oh, my God.
It's very fitting that Jets rhymes with Mets.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
they're just one and
It's
the same.
same thing.
They're
it's
one and
the
the same.
same exact thing. Same exact thing. So now, talking about the league and everything like that, now we said it earlier, the breaking news that the NFL is going to hire full-time refs. And people have been crying for this for a very long time. What does this mean to the play on the field?
I think it means improvement in the sense of now these guys can fully focus on the rule book, the new rules that are coming every year because there are new rules with player safeties and this and that. So now they can fully focus year-round instead of doing, I got an NFL game this day, but, I'm reffing college football here. So now they have 24 guys that can really, set the stable for the other referees that are in their game. So there's 24, and how many refs are there per game?
There's 4?
4, I believe, right?
4 or 5, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So it's not going to be. There'll probably be 1 to 2 full time per game, give or take.
Probably.
So it's going to improve in a lot that you have these 1 or 2 guys that know the rule book in and out, or should know the rule book in and out, that they are now full time. They're going to feel better about money and protection and benefits and all those things for them, but that also helps in the play on the field because now they're 100% focused on the game.
Yeah.
They can spend all their time in the off season learning the new rules, adapting to the new rules, talking to the other full-time referees about the new rules. I think it's great. There's a reason it's been an outcry for all the years to get consistency. I think that's the key word with this.
Yeah.
The full-time referees coming in is consistency throughout the NFL now. It's not going to be, 2 of the same plays happening in different games, and you're getting 2 different things from the referees of those games.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be huge. I really think it's going to benefit, making replays faster, making calls faster. So many times referees huddle up, and it just takes way too long. Crowd starts booing. Coaches are screaming and cursing, wondering what's going on. It's going to help with that, which again helps the play on the field. So I think it's very beneficial, and I think it's going to definitely improve the play on the field.
Absolutely. So now, is DeShone Kizer, and we brought him up, while we were talking about the Jets, is DeShone Kizer and Deshaun Watson going under center earlier than we think?
Yes. And especially in the case of the Houston Texans, because they are where they are. They are potentially the third best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
Maybe second, with flip-flopping with the Steelers. Steelers are probably better. But anyway, the Texans have a lot on the line. They got probably the best defense in the NFL. They played the Patriots in the playoff. They were never going to win that game.
Yeah.
But if they had anything of a quarterback, they had a chance to
win that game.
beat
Absolutely.
the Patriots.
Absolutely.
So with that mindset, the window is so small in the NFL of when you're on that level that you can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Any signs from Tom Savage of just awfulness, and what you brought up in our pre-show meeting is he hasn't even thrown a touchdown in the NFL.
Not at all.
So I personally feel like any chance of, or any just signs of doubt from Savage, a couple interceptions one game, maybe 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions in a game, he's out. I really feel that way because you just have such a small window to win as the Texans, and college is different than the NFL, but Deshaun Watson is a winner.
Yeah,
and he proved that in college. He is 100% a winner. So for the Texans, I could see it happening quicker. For Kizer, it could be quick too, but not maybe as quick as you don't want to rush him into a bad situation when you have bad offensive line. You don't have wide receivers, tight ends. So, Texans obviously a more complete team. So that's why I see Watson getting the chance first.
Yeah.
Kaiser will play this year, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Kaiser will be playing this year. It's just a matter of it could be a little later on, like once they're actually out of it, which they pretty much already are because of the Browns.
Yeah.
But, say like week 12, or, give or take something around there, that's when I expect to see Kaiser get in there.
Absolutely.
Now, the last headline is my question for Jerry, and it's very relative to, New Yorker, so pay attention. Will Odell's contract situation affect the Giants' season? Because there's a lot of hype around this team right now. On sports radio, there's a lot of high expectations for this team. I don't exactly see it because they don't have the best offensive line. But, hey, I'm not a Giants fan, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But how do you see this playing out?
I do think that this is going to be a problem because I don't think he's going to get that contract that he is expecting. So I do see that being a little bit of a, basically I feel it being a distraction. I feel like this is a big distraction. Your best player on the team, in contract and just worrying about, money and things like that. I feel like, yes, this is going to be, a damper on the season. I don't see the Giants being as good as everybody sees it. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I know they added Brandon Marshall. I know that, that's big.
You're not saying they're going to be... Like, we're obviously going to be getting into it later, so we'll save it.
Yeah. So, I don't see them being...
right there with the Cowboys?
I wouldn't even say right there with the Cowboys. I'm just basically, I don't see them being, just living up to the hype that everybody is saying.
That's obviously the biggest problem with New York is we do this to ourselves.
Absolutely.
We 100% do this to ourselves, and
we have to remember Eli Manning is a year older now.
Mm-hmm. He's on top of a bad year he had last year.
Exactly. You have to remember that your offensive line is not that good. Yeah, you might have Sterling Shepard, you might have Odell Beckham, you might have Brandon Marshall, but if your quarterback is worried about finding himself on the grass,
and we saw that last
or
year,
the turf, then you're not going to get the ball to them. They don't have a good running game at all. Yeah, their defense is good. They threw a lot of money into that defense,
and that's something that will improve. With time and chemistry. So the defense will get better.
Yeah,
but I just don't see where this talk of the offense.
Not at all.
They're all saying they're putting the offensive line is putting Eric Flowers is putting on all his work in the offseason. That doesn't equate to anything on the field.
Nothing.
So where is this where did this offensive line get so much better?
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how the Giants play out in the preseason. We'll see, some of the young guys play. It's going to be interesting. But we are going to hit a break here finally because we really went over it. We really went over.
I kind of looked down at my watch. I'm like, boy.
But. Hey, Tom, doesn't it get annoying when you're watching sports? Let's say you want to send a text to your friend or tweet something about the game or check your fantasy team, or, hey, how about you want to go to the game and even set up a tailgate party and you have to go to all of these different apps, websites, etc. to do all of that. What if you can just go to one place for all of this?
Could I really?
You can.
Where?
You can.
Tell me right now.
I'm here to tell you there is a place like that, and it's Yelphi Sports app. You can get real-time detailed scores, stats, news, rumors, fantasy news, team and player comparisons, built-in social network feature, which is integrated with Twitter and Facebook. Create private one-to-one or group chat with your friends, buy and sell tickets, host a tailgate party, or even a pickup game. One sports app for all your sports information. Make sure you go download Yelphi Sports app in the iTunes App Store. Yelphi, the only sports app that you need.
All Noise Radio,
Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Hey, this is Jerry Napoleonello, host of Running Up the Score. We are live once every week at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we hit on all the top headlines in the world of sports. You can also find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and those of you that like the visual aspect, check us out on YouTube. Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.
Cyberstation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stages, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. Cyberstation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach. A fully integrated one-stop shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at Cameo at cyberstationusa.com.
Hey, this is Tom Gallipani, co-host of Running Up the Score. Remember to catch us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RUTS Sports. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, where you will get the full Running Up the Score experience. Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.
I will fight till I take my last breath. I got the heart of a warrior. The heart of
Now back to Running Up the Score. Here's Jerry and Tom.
I've been out and I've been.
Yeah.
I got the heart of a warrior. Believe. The heart of a warrior.
All right, Jerry, we were discussing football as we went over our break time, but we're going to get back into it with our predictions for the upcoming season. But first, give us a call at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Also, give us a follow and tweet us at RUTS Sports, as well as follow us on Instagram at RUTS Sports, and check out our website, www.rutsports.weebly.com. So now, we're going to jump into our predictions and award winners for the upcoming 2017-18 NFL season.
Yeah, so I know everybody was itching for this. Like, this is, we've been actually, I kept on asking every week, should we go over football? Should we go over football? Should we go over football? And we kind of try to hold it off a little bit, and then we got to, now it's preseason starts tonight. Technically, it starts tonight. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into our predictions. We can.
Yeah, we're a month away from real football. So I mean, this is the time.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, almost exactly a month, because the season starts September 10th.
There we go.
So it's August 9th. So we'll get into our early predictions, and then we'll later on in the season, maybe midpoint, we'll kind of give more.
We'll recap on the predictions we made today and future predictions.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll start with the AFC. We'll start off with the AFC South, or say AFC North. We'll start off with your division. Now, the way I look at this, I see this division playing out through Pittsburgh.
Yes.
This team is a solid team. They have one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the league. So I'm looking at it as I fully expect Martavis Bryant to be back. That's another thing that goes on with the NFL that people are questioning. Like, how long does it take to come out with either saying he's still suspended or saying he's still ineligible or finally activating him. So we'll see. But I fully expect him to be back. So now,
even without it, honestly,
they're
still one of the best.
You're joining Ben Roethlisberger with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell hasn't been suspended yet. So, he'll be there for week 1. Antonio Brown and the new celebration rules are back, so he's excited about that. Yeah. So,
and then they're also lucky that the other 3 teams in the division are kind of middle of a pack in a sense. Yeah. Obviously, the Browns are the Browns. The Bengals are going to be worse than previous years, and the Ravens are just going to be kind of floating around 500.
Yeah, the way I see this division going: Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Cleveland. I'm a little worried about the injury problems with Baltimore. That was the one thing that kind of deterred me from Baltimore. Usually I like to pick Baltimore. Baltimore is usually one of those veteran teams that is always around. You have Flacco with a back injury. Who knows? If you listen to Bisciotti the other day, kind of seems like he's basically saying that Joe Flacco is faking it. So who knows, what the deal is with that. Cincinnati is a middle-of-the-pack type of team. Basically like you were saying. I feel like they're okay. Yeah. They have the talent. They always have the talent. But, it all falls on Andy Dalton, and we'll see what happens with him. So, basically, I see DeShone Kizer starting for the Browns in the near future. I don't know how long it's going to be. I say week 6 or 7-ish.
The Browns are going to be better. They have had... If they're like the offseason was the season, the Browns would be a very good team. Yeah, they've had some good off seasons recently.
And you know what? I'm not saying this is going to equate to wins. Basically, like you were saying, I think that this is another kind of going with the Jets. This is a player development type of season.
But they're ahead of the Jets in the sense of they're already
they have a quarterback.
They have the quarterback, but they also they've had a few good drafts.
Yeah,
which
they
had
a really good draft this year.
That's what I'm saying. And the Jets really haven't. They've taken quarterbacks in the second round and never play them.
Yeah.
So the Browns will be better than they were, but they're extremely young, and it's just a tough division to be young in.
Oh, absolutely. So let's get into our records here. So now, what's your lineup of first, second, third, fourth?
The Ravens second.
Okay.
Steelers first, 13-3.
Okay.
The Ravens is tough because I have them at 10-6 here, but I probably a little favoritism.
Yeah.
I more see them at like 9-7.
Okay.
Or 8-8. Give one in one of those areas. Bengals, I just don't see a good year out of the Bengals.
Okay.
Going through it, I got them at 5-11 somehow. So I just don't see good stuff from them. And then Browns at 3-13.
Okay. So the way I looked at it, I have the Steelers. I have them at 13-3 as well. The Bengals, I see like I said, a middle-of-the-pack type of team. I have them at 9-7. The Ravens, I like I said, I'm a little worried with the injuries. The injuries are big. They lost a few guys to basically full season, injuries. You have Flacco. If this is a real injury, the back injury with a quarterback is not something to play around. Yeah, so it's just it's a problem. So I have them. I think I kind of short sold them. I have them at 5-11. I don't know if I really because I kind of sped through this whole process of picking. Like I when the season comes around, I think maybe before week 1 we can kind of refine these records. So we'll do that
because obviously 4 weeks of preseason.
Exactly,
it's going to
be So we'll do that. So right before week 1, the week before week 1, we are going to give basically our
new and improved.
Yeah, new and improved. So there's a chance that I can fix this depending on if I see Flacco in preseason. I don't know if we're going to see Flacco in preseason, but we'll see. So I have them at 5-11. I have the Browns at 2-14. So we'll move on to the other AFC division, the AFC South. This is a different type of division that we're talking about here because it's another rookie quarterback that's basically leading this division. Because I feel like Houston is such a good team.
They are.
Houston is such a good overall team. You have Hopkins as your wide receiver, top weapon in the league. Then you look at that defense. That defense is
it's all about that defense.
Stacked. So, the biggest thing is they needed a quarterback, and I think Deshaun Watson is that quarterback.
It's just a matter of how fast can he get in there.
Exactly. And, you look at the other teams in this division. You have the Tennessee Titans, who I think are right around there. They should be a playoff team. I like them. If Marcus Mariota can stay healthy, we'll see what happens with that. I think this is a solid team. I really do think this is a solid team.
I have the Titans in the playoffs.
So do I. So we have the Jaguars and the Colts. So I have them listed: Houston, Tennessee, Jacksonville, and Indianapolis.
Ooh, okay. I am just flip-flopping with the Colts and the Jaguars, just because the Colts at least have stability in the quarterback.
But that was the reasoning behind my record for the Colts, is because now you really don't know what you're going to get from Andrew Luck, because now,
but at least it is a quarterback.
Absolutely.
In the sense of Jacksonville doesn't.
My problem though with Andrew Luck is because everybody's saying, you know what, he could be out 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He could be there for week 1. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is like I don't think that they're that good of a team overall.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
I think that Andrew Luck carries that team, and if there's no Andrew Luck, I think this is going to be a bad team. And the way I'm looking at this is the way that the injury is with Andrew Luck, this could be a big reason why that they're a bad team. And we'll get right into our records. I have Houston winning this division 10-6. I have the Tennessee Titans making the playoffs, being in second place in this division at 9-7. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars getting better. I have them at 7-9, and then I have the Indianapolis Colts at 3-13.
Okay,
it's a big drop off, but
so I actually had the Texans a lot better than you did.
See, I had them a lot better first, and then I started to
So right now I had
them at like 13-3.
That's what I'm at right now, and then I got the Titans at 11-5. Which I feel good about that. I really feel like the Titans are a 10-11 win team.
Okay.
Pending Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Colts 6-10, Jaguars 4-12.
Okay. Yeah, we're right around the same.
Yeah.
It's not. But now we go to the AFC East.
This is the
AFC least.
The joke.
What can I say about the Patriots? They gotten better.
And that's the thing where we were talking about it earlier. Obviously, going through this, the link you sent me and the prediction for each game is, I just gave him a loss to give him a loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like I actually thought that team was better than them.
Well, that's the thing. Like I literally I forget who I gave them the loss to, but
I think at first I had the Texans, just at like a revenge kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's early in the season, but it was hard to just. Like I said, I just gave them a loss to give them a loss.
Yeah, they're better than every single team on this list, and I don't know if I had Oakland beating them.
I was just gonna say maybe at Oakland.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that might have been. Actually, I think that's the one I gave him. That's the one I gave him.
So yeah, it's it's tough. When you're really thinking about it, I don't see them losing, but I gave them a loss just to give them a loss. So I have them at 15-1. The rest of this division I have as terrible records. I have the Dolphins second with a 4-12 record. I have the Bills third with a 3-13 record, and I had the Jets as an 0-6 team.
Well, in the opposite sense of the Patriots, I gave the Jets one of the two games we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I believe I gave them over
probably
Cleveland.
Yeah,
but I got Miami 5-11 and Buffalo 5-11.
Okay. So now we go into the last AFC division, the AFC
That's a good one.
West. Yeah, I like this.
Couple
division.
good teams here.
I have Oakland. I think is going to be even better than they were last year. This team is a very heavy weapon team.
And the thing with them is with the injury to Carr, it wasn't like a ligament or something.
It was just a broken leg.
It was just a broken bone.
Yeah. So I have them at a 14-2 record. I have the Chiefs second with a 10-6 record. I have Denver 8-8 because who knows what's going to happen with their quarterback position. Mm-hmm. I think that their defense gets them to that 8-win mark. And And then I have the Chargers even, around there. I have them at 7-9. I think that, the move kind of has them, a little off-centered, the way that.
I was a little more harsh on the bottom two.
Okay.
But I do have Oakland 12-4. Kansas City's right behind them, believe it or not. So I have them at 11-5.
Okay.
But then it kind of drops off 6-10 Broncos, 5-11 Chargers.
Okay. Not bad. So now we move over to the NFC. We go into the NFC North. Now I have this as Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
I need to take a second look here because the Bears are definitely not better than the Lions.
No.
Not that the Lions are good, but the Bears have a rookie quarterback nobody's really sold on, so I got to look at that again. But either way, they're both terrible.
So the Packers, they got Aaron Rodgers.
I feel like this is a bounce back year in a sense of.
Yeah.
I think this might be a year of the Packers. Honestly, I have them as the believe it or not, I actually have them as the 1 seed.
Okay.
For the NFC,
I have them as the 2.
Okay.
So I have them at 12-4.
Yep, me too.
I have the Vikings at 10-6. I have the Lions at 6-10, and I have the Bears at 2-14.
I think the Vikings are on the downward spiral. So I have 12-4 also, but then 8-8 Vikings.
Okay.
4-12 Bears and 3-13 Lions, which I need to take a second look at.
See, I don't know what to get with the Vikings. I think the Vikings defense is a solid defense. Yeah. You look at their offense. Their offensive line is if it stays healthy, is a pretty decent offensive line, and that was their problem last year. Their whole offensive line got hurt. Mm-hmm. Then Adrian Peterson got hurt. Then you had Teddy Bridgewater get hurt. So it was a big. Cluster of just bad things happening to the Vikings last year. Sam Bradford played pretty well. Who knows if Teddy Bridgewater makes his way back this year at some point? I don't know. But I think Dalvin Cook is big for this team. I think Dalvin Cook is huge. Stephon Diggs, I think, takes another step forward. Okay. So I think that this team is going to be a pretty good team. I think they just missed the playoffs with a 10-6 record. So that was my thinking with the Vikings. So now we move on to the NFC South, and this is where I had problems with it, and I've been trying to fix it up a little bit. When you were talking before, I was trying to fix it up because I want to put the Falcons at a middle-of-the-pack type team. I think that the Super Bowl slump is a real thing. I think that this team is going to take a step back because of Kyle Shanahan leaving, because Matt Ryan was always a decent quarterback. He always had his problems. Then Kyle Shanahan came in, and all of a sudden he took a huge step forward. I think he takes a step or two back. We have to see if Julio Jones stays healthy. We'll see if Devontae Freeman stays to his, now his contract. So we'll see what happens with this team. I think their defense is okay. I think it gotten better over the last 2 years. But I think that they're going to be a middle of the pack offensive, middle of the pack team this year. I have them at 11-5. Then I have Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a solid team this year.
Tampa is going to be probably the most improved team in the league.
Yeah, and I have them at 11-5.
Okay.
So that's where. But the other two teams I have pretty good. I have them at pretty good records.
Yeah, there's only one team that we don't agree on, and that's the Panthers.
Yeah.
But you can finish the records if you will.
I have the Saints at 10-6,
okay,
and I have the Carolina Panthers at the same because I think the Panthers are still a solid team.
Yeah,
I think they took a step back last year. Super Bowl slump. So I don't know, but let me hear yours.
I still see the Falcons winning this division.
Okay.
They've always been a regular season team in the sense that they always got it done in the regular season. They always got at least 10 wins. So I do have them at 12-4 still.
Okay.
I got the Buccaneers right behind them, 11-5, making the playoffs. Saints are, I actually like the Saints. They're probably my favorite NFC team, my second favorite team, most likely. I'm just not really like a big, second team guy. But if I had to have one, it would be the Saints. And you are even, you're higher hopes than I am.
Yeah.
Then I have them at 9-7, And then the Panthers I got at 5 and 11.
Okay.
I still think there's something's wrong there. I feel like just for me, maybe McCaffrey makes that difference and gets them, gets Cam that help that when he's about to go down, he can chuck it off to McCaffrey. Maybe that makes a difference, but we'll see. Like we said, when we do this again in like a month, and I see how McCaffrey goes in the preseason and things like that, could be different. Could be different.
Now this is the one division I feel really good about, and I usually don't like to pick Cowboys games because I'm just very superstitious.
No, I'm with you.
So I have the Cowboys, the 3 seed. I have them 12-4. I have second place. I have the Eagles at 9-7.
Ooh.
Third place, I have the Giants at 8-8, and fourth, I have the Redskins at 4-12. I feel good about this. I like the Giants at 8-8. I like the Eagles at 9-7. I'm a little, I don't know with the Cowboys. I think they're a 10-6 to a 12-4 team.
And then and that's also as we got on earlier with Elliott. That's
you don't
a big
know.
Factor.
Yeah,
that's a very big factor.
Absolutely. So that's how I have it standing up. So what is yours?
I got 11-5 Cowboys.
Okay.
Up top. 9-7 Giants.
Okay.
9-7 Eagles.
Okay.
6-10
All right.
Redskins.
So we're right around the same here. When we're
I'm
talking
definitely
about this
high on the
division.
Eagles too.
Yeah.
I think they're right on the cusp. Wentz is showing not just the most impressive thing about Wentz is that he showed that he's just a natural quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
In the sense of he's a leader. He can drop back and just sling it like a quarterback should. It's not,
And he's a tough quarterback, too.
Yeah, he's not just playing off the play action or playing off
yeah.
the system. He's just a quarterback.
Absolutely. So down to the last division, the NFC West, I have the 1 seed coming out of this division.
Okay.
And I have Seattle being the 1 seed. I have Seattle 14-2. That's another team that I kind of got to go over again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like them at 14-2. Arizona I have at 12-4. I don't know if I like them at that spot either. So I want to look that over again. The Rams I have at 5-11. And I actually have the 49ers at 1-15.
We're opposite on the bottom two. But I got Seattle winning at 11-5.
Okay.
Cardinals are right behind 10-6. The Niners, they kind of just going off last year that they snuck out like 1 or 2 early wins in the season.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I went off with them.
Okay.
But I got them at 5-11, and then I got the Rams actually at 1-15.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out.
So that will do it for our division predictions. We're again in about 3 weeks we will do it again, and we will refine those.
Not so much do the whole thing over again, just in the sense of just retune.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
will. Retune.
So now we're gonna move on to doing the award predictions, and if I could just figure out where I put here we go. So now we're gonna start with the AFC at the MVP.
And this, by the way, is a group decision.
Yeah,
we kind of went over this in the pre-show meeting, and there wasn't even really disagreements. Like,
no.
It wasn't who do you have, and we said 2 different people.
Yeah.
It was we were on the same page.
Exactly, and I think that's why we kind of went with a a full running up the score type decision with the award. So MVP, we thought about this not too long. Basically, this was a unanimous decision, a very easy decision, and we're going with the 40-year-old Tom Brady. It's just
when you're on the verge of potentially getting 16-0, how can you
exactly
look elsewhere?
And it's just hard not to pick any. It's hard not to pick him, and it's hard to pick anybody else. That's what it is. Offensive Player of the Year. We kind of.
This was instantaneously too.
Yeah,
actually.
basically,
maybe even faster.
I think we basically said Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. We both said it at the same time. Antonio Brown. I think that having Martavis Bryant back with that team, I think it even opens it up more for him. So we'll see what happens with that. I like that pick. I like the MVP pick as well. Now we go to the Defensive Player of the Year. This is more so your pick. And I thought it was a great pick. I definitely went right on board with this pick. Jadeveon Clowney, Houston Texans. Basically what we were saying, and basically you said it, was that he played unbelievable in the playoffs. And we think that that's going to progress.
And this, by the way, I trashed Clowney.
Yeah.
All the years back when he was the number one pick.
I think we both did when it first happened. Just basically, I didn't think it was a good fit. Yeah.
And I just stuck with, it just didn't work. It wasn't meant to be that pick, but he just showed signs, late last year and especially in that playoff game against New England that I think he's finally developed into what he was supposed to be. Maybe not supposed to be because this defense wasn't really fit for where he played, but he's finally used to that role. He's comfortable with that defense, and I think this is his breakout year.
And if J.J. Watt stays healthy,
that helps even more.
That helps even more. So now Rookie of the Year of the AFC, the last award that we have for the AFC. And I thought, we kind of went over this, and we had two names come up, and we just kind of went team-wise, like what we think the team was going to be. And our two choices was Myles Garrett, obviously the number one pick, and then we had Leonard Fournette. And we liked,
not to mention
the positions as well.
Well, I was just going to say Watson was a factor. We were thinking about him, but we just don't know when he's going to get in.
Yeah, that's
so that
kind
of takes away from it.
And that's what I said. In the pre-show meeting, we said basically we had the three. We had Deshaun Watson, Leonard Fournette, and Myles Garrett. And basically, I just said, you don't know when.
If Watson was starting, we knew Watson was starting week one, it would have been him.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the only reason why we had the next two names as our top picks was because we knew that they were going to be starting from the start.
Yep.
So we're going with Leonard Fournette with Jacksonville. We think Jacksonville is going to be a better team this year. And I think that is a huge pick, and Myles Garrett plays for the Browns. So
and I think what plays into the Fournette is Coughlin is probably going to want to get the ball out of Blake Bortles' hands as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So just keep feeding the rock to Fournette.
Yeah.
That's how I see that playing out.
So NFC now, MVP. Probably, the equivalent of our AFC MVP, and that's Aaron Rodgers. We think Aaron Rodgers is going to be better this year than he was last year. It's definitely going to be a bounce-back year.
Yes.
We saw the signs of it in the playoffs with the one throw against the Cowboys, the Hail Mary against the Giants, and, they could have beaten the Atlanta Falcons. They could have, but they just went down way too much, way too early, and it just, from there it spiraled. But we think it's Aaron Rodgers this year. Hopefully they have Jordy Nelson healthy the whole year. So you hope that Ty Montgomery. Factor, yeah. You hope that Ty Montgomery is, another year into the running back position. You hope that he plays better. And you kind of hope that them not picking Dalvin Cook doesn't come back to haunt them. So Offensive Player of the Year, we had two here. And the reason why we had two here is because it's the unknown.
Yep.
It's the unknown when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott. We love Ezekiel Elliott at this spot in the awards.
But if he misses 2-3 games,
it's going to be hard to pick him. Our other pick is Odell Beckham. He's going to try to play for this contract if he doesn't get it before the season, which is going to be probably hard to not get before the season.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with that. But those are our two picks. If Ezekiel Elliott plays the whole season without getting suspended, he's our pick.
Yeah.
So then Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. The kid's a monster. He stuffs the middle like no other. It's just a solid pick. That defensive line with the Rams has always been good. And just having him as the anchor of that defensive line team, there's nobody else that you could think of in the NFC that you think is going to overtake.
And I believe he
Aaron
also
Donald.
Wants money too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's holding out right now.
He's got stuff to play for.
And I loved our Rookie of the Year. our Rookie of the Year, is a solid pick. And you'll see him on Hard Knocks. If you didn't watch it yesterday, it's going to be Tuesdays, obviously Tuesday nights. So check that out. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the steal of the draft,
I can't believe he slid that far down.
I know.
I really can't.
Is O.J. Howard. Now we like this pick. Mainly because, I mean, the offensive weapons that Jameis Winston has, the way that Jameis Winston plays, I mean, just
it all fits.
This is just perfect.
Tampa's probably draft day was like, is this actually happening right now?
Oh, absolutely. Now you look at that. You look at that offense.
Not to mention, who they signed in the offseason, Deshaun Jackson.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You have Mike Evans. You have Deshaun Jackson. You have Doug Martin. You have now O.J. Howard. It's just a solid offense.
There's a reason they're probably going to be the most improved team in football.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like O.J. Howard at that position for Rookie of the Year. Now, the NBA made some scheduling changes, which is huge. Basically, they don't want people sitting out. And some people have called
it actually quite of an easy fix. All they essentially did was they are now starting the season 10 days earlier than they previously had.
Yeah.
So Jerry will get into more of it, but it kind of makes less back-to-backs and less 3 out of 5s, but he'll get into the numbers.
So basically the changes, what they made was eliminating stretches of 4 games in 5 days and 18 games in 30 days. The reduction of 5 games in 7 nights to just 40 instances across the league, which is 1.3 per team, down from last year when it was on the schedule 90 times, 3 per team.
That's actually huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty crazy.
Reduction in the number of back-to-backs to 14.9 per team, down from 16.3 per team. In all, 40 back-to-backs have been eliminated from last season, which is huge.
Yeah.
Reduction of single-game road trips by 17%. Reduction in single-game road trips over 2,000 miles by 67%. There are only 11 of them on the schedule. An increase in weekend games from 549 to 568, much of the boost coming on Saturdays. So previously, the NBA avoided Saturday and Sunday afternoons during football season to dodge the conflicts, obviously. It happens every season, but the issue is resting players came to a head in March when Golden State rested Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and all on that televised game. So this is huge because they had to make this change because they were getting hammered with ESPN and TNT. So this is huge. This is a huge change. We'll get into the Islanders talk later on when we don't have as much to talk about with the NFL.
Yeah, this was kind of like one of our favorite kind of segments or shows to do is, it's the start of football season. It's
absolutely.
The start of the unknown, how good is your team going to do? You're feeling good about it. So this was one of those shows.
This show just shows you. I mean, we're over 17 minutes now. And the thing with football, and it's always been since we started, even when we weren't good, football season was always easier and is always easier. And you can ask any host, any professional host, football's always easy to talk about. So how about the Little League World Series kid that hit it into the trees? That was awesome.
They actually estimated it at like 375, I believe.
The kid's 12.
Yeah, so that's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's also,
insane.
Not to take away from him, but the bats are getting a little composite bats and things like that.
Absolutely.
But that's still a moonshot.
Yeah. So the World Series odds were released. We have 11 of them. We'll try to bring them up as quick as we can.
We'll just do the teams that we actually think are going to win or have a chance.
So you have the Dodgers at 11-4 odds. You have the Houston Astros 9-2. You have the Cubs at 7-1.
Cubs are making a climb.
Yeah, they are. Nationals are 7-1. Indians are 8-1. Boston Red Sox 15-2. Yankees are 9-1. Arizona is 20-1. Colorado is 33-1.
I'm actually surprised at the Nationals, and it's not because of the Nationals. It's just because of the Dodgers, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the Red Sox would be ahead of the Nationals just because they have more of a clear shot.
Yeah. Royals 25-1, and the Tampa Bay Rays 66-1. Tampa Bay Rays on that is kind of insane.
Good for them.
Also, I was going to get into Howie Rose, but we just don't have enough time. But coming up is the MLB Players Weekend. We have that. So that's going to be fun, and all of the most of the names have been released, and some of the jerseys, you can go check those out. I'm going to try to flash the jersey names on the screen for YouTube. But you have All Rise, Stickman, La Potencia, Kid, Miggy, Corey's brother, Cody Love, Toki 2, Flaco Forte, KB, Tsunami, Cruz, EE, El Koja, Bringer of Rain, Big Kid, Wawandinjai, whatever, Yo-Yo, Nado, Papo. So that's Aaron Judge, Chris Sale, Yoenis Cespedes, Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, Kyle Seager, Cody Bellinger, Joey Votto, Chris Archer, Chris Bryant, Carlos Martinez, Giancarlo Stanton, Edwin Encarnacion, Adrian Beltre, Josh Donaldson, Bryce Harper, Hunter Pence, Yoan Moncada, Nolan Arenado, and Adam Jones. Those are those names, but there's a whole bunch of them.
It's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think that's a great thing that MLB is doing. So that's about it for the show. I mean, we could have done 2 hours here. Definitely could have done 2 hours, maybe even 3. We could have pushed 3.
People outside probably would not appreciate that too much, but no, definitely, it could have been 1.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, we usually do our show at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no,
and we ended at 8. So if we did it from 5 to 8, I mean, they would probably even still be happy. They're doing a tour here, but. Overall, I thought that was a good show. I mean, football's back. I mean,
back. You can tell by this
20
episode
minutes, the 20 minutes over, it's back. It definitely is back. And now you're going to get a heavy dose of football on Running Up the Score for weeks to come until February.
Until past February.
And then you start talking about the draft. So it's definitely that wonderful time of the year. It's crazy how fast this summer has gone.
Yeah.
I mean, this summer has flown by. We're going to have a lot of weeks where, it's mainly just going to be me talking about football.
Yeah, we'll get into that when it gets a little closer, but it was a very good day.
Yeah, it was.
Very good day.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Just basically predictions. It's going to be fun. But we're going to fix those up when it comes down to
some fine-tuning.
Yeah. So... yeah, but that's it. That will do it for Running Up the Score. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Thought it was great. But that will do it, as I said, for Running Up the Score. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Tom.
Be breezy.
Be breezy. And it is all over! You've been listening to Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio.